may have heard of a little known program known as Photoshop. Several years ago, I had purchased this program on my MacBook, and it was one of my favorite programs to use. Incredibly useful for art courses and just general drawing. Of course, I was trying to run Photoshop on a MacBook Air, which wasn't exactly the fastest computer out there. But, anyways, a few years later, after the year about 2015, when my MacBook broke, and well, I wanted to get Photoshop on a Windows computer instead. To my surprise, instead of the original straight up transaction I was used to paying, I now had to pay monthly payments to use the program whenever, not to mention gain access to a whole bunch of programs I didn't want to buy to begin with. Mind, I'm now aware that there's a way to buy Photoshop for around $100 or so permanently, just a one time purchase, but that's not the point. In my head, I was confused. Why would the companies switch from a straight, if expensive purchase to a subscription based service? While it was admittedly cheaper initially in several months, the overall cumulative cost would be more expensive than the original price if it was sold out online. This demotivated me personally from buying the product again. I ended up trying to find an alternative alt program for me to use. It was always confusing to me as to why they changed the way they sold things, but I soon forgot about the whole matter. Now, though, we can take a look at this from an economist's point of view. Why do programming companies sell their products via subscription price or subscription service when before companies used to allow customers to buy a product once and own it permanently? The first thing we'll look into is the concept of price discrimination. This helps explain why many program companies have shifted to subscription services. In online shops, customers can purchase different levels of subscription plans based on their own personal needs. With some programming companies, such as Adobe, the price can change depending on if they're using the products for individual, business, or educational uses. The business package is usually more expensive, but they typically gain the ability to use those programs for commercial purposes, something that is excluded from the individual package. Educational, such as schools and universities, offer discounts for teachers and students alike, and offer bulk discount deals for subscribing for the programs on a campus wide basis. By offering different subscription plans at varying price points, with differing levels to the quality or type of programs available with each plan, companies can cater to different segments of customers. This allows them to extract more value from customers who are willing to pay higher prices for continuous access to the program while still accommodating customers with lower budgets who may not be able to afford a one time purchase. As a result, price discrimination helps companies maximize their revenue by capturing a larger share of consumer surplus and is one of the most common qualities that can be seen in subscription services offered from programming companies worldwide. The second concept we'll look into is trade offs between the present and the future. Let's say a program company sells an art program at a set price, allowing consumers to purchase and own the product permanently without any need for recurring payments. But the thing is, unlike common products, programs require updates as technology progresses, patches to fix discovered bugs, tech services and help forums, and so on, which requires a company to continuously work on their product from present to the foreseeable future. The costs are semi mitigated by the fact that they effectively sell the same product, as a company can easily duplicate the program and grant licenses to registered users so they can use the software. But at the same time, the consumers do not have to pay anything extra for the updates. This would effectively mean that the cost of reduction increases as time goes on, while at the same time, the earnings for the products may decrease. As fewer people need to acquire it, unlike some perishable or consumable products, or products that have limited lifespans. Software is a more permanent product that has a long shelf life, rarely breaks, and has long-term free service from the company where software fixes and updates are complimentary for the product, without any additional cost to the customer. In a subscription service, however, these costs can be mitigated. If a company were to sell their products on a subscription service, consumers would have to pay to maintain the use of the programs, or else lose access. Thus, most customers would decide to pay monthly, especially if they must use those programs. for instance, as a digital artist or photographer. As a result, payments via subscription provides a more steady, permanent profit stream for the company, allowing them to meet more than make up for the cost of production through updates and software maintenance. Production thus becomes steadier in the present and in the future, as production includes both selling the product and maintaining the product. Profits made at a steady margin and helps cover the cost of complementary software updates and fixes. Now, surprisingly, this trade off can work for both companies and consumers. Expensive software that may seem too demanding at the time, requiring a large sum of money to purchase, now suddenly becomes more available, along with a wider variety of products available to the consumer as a package deal. For some customers, that can be an attractive deal, since they can cancel the subscription during times where they either do not need to use the program or when they need to save money. The last concept we'll be looking into is price elasticity of demand. For firms to determine if a subscription based model would be optimal, they must analyze the elasticity of demand of their products. Elasticity of demand refers to how sensitive the quantity demanded of a good or service is to its changes in price. A good with high elasticity means that consumers are highly responsive to price changes, while a good with low elasticity implies that consumers are less responsive. Now let's imagine a scenario where a software company offers its product as a one-time purchase. If the demand for the software is more elastic than inelastic, it means that customers are highly sensitive to the price. Any significant price increase could lead to a substantial decline in demand. In such cases, a subscription based model might be more attractive to the company. Subscriptions allow companies to offer their products at a lower upfront cost, making them more accessible to a broader range of customers. By breaking down the price into smaller recurring payments, the perceived cost becomes much more manageable, especially for those who may not be willing to dish out the big bucks for a larger initial investment. This can attract a larger customer base and potentially increase overall revenue. Additionally, the subscription model often includes additional benefits such as regular updates and customer support. These ongoing services provide value to customers, enhancing their experience and increasing customer loyalty. For companies, this recurring revenue stream can provide a more stable and predictable income compared to relying solely on a one time purchase. We've explored this shift from one time purchases to subscription services and programming companies such as Adobe and Microsoft. To wrap things up, price discrimination enables companies to maximize profits by tailoring prices to the different customer segments based on their willingness to pay. However, implementing subscription based models does involve trade offs between immediate revenue and long term revenue and customer relationships, as companies need to carefully balance pricing strategies to ensure customer retention and sustainable growth. By examining the price elasticity of demand, companies can determine if a subscription based model is a viable option, allowing them to reach a wider customer base, ensure stable revenue, and foster stronger customer relations. And in the end, thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey through the world of subscription services. Thank you.